Oh hey internet, what's up? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel, to the Touhou, to the garbage. Although, I'm conflicted, I don't want to say here's the worst run, because we get the furthest in this run. However, we don't necessarily beat our high score. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm at least happy that we're able to strike a little further into the fear of the game, strike some fear into the core of the game. I don't know. What stupid saying am I trying to say? Yeah. Without actually getting the greatest score in our high score list, we're able to get pretty deep. Get in there nice and deep. I'm not so sure what other sort of double entendre I can kind of come up with there, other than just the fact that we played pretty decent in some areas, pretty garbage in other areas, and then really aggressive in some areas, and just enough to kind of like squeak by and get maybe like 2 or 3 inches further than we have in past runs. But you know what? I'll take it. Progress is progress. At this point, I'm not going to be picky. I just, as long as it's not a step backwards, or, continual step backwards, to the point where it's like, I wish I didn't do those last 5 videos, because they're all just, now we're 5 steps back than where we were. Which was the case with some infamous series on the channel. Here we are, first level boss. Ain't no thing. We've pretty much come down to nuke her down pretty good. It is curious though. In the last few runs, we really haven't been able to get that 5 mil before her death. Usually, 9 times out of 10, the end of the level bonus brings it up, but I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe one of these releases is not as on point, not as spot on as they usually are. Here we are with the final attack. Yeah, 4.4, 4.7 by the end of it. The clear bonus brings us over the extend. So a little curious how that's been happening recently. Maybe one of the releases haven't been as spot on as I would have liked, but I don't think that's all that big of a difference really when you're talking about 100,000ths of a point, where we're talking about near the end of the game. We need 20 million to get the next extends, that sort of thing. Small stuff, but I wonder if it kind of snowballs. It's a curious thought. I'm thinking whether or not it really matters if you play well early in the game, or it's all about later in the game. But I don't think it does. It certainly doesn't hurt. Kind of knocking out these first couple levels A+, with no deaths, and just racking up some nice multiplier on your points there, getting some nice releases. And I do have to say, level 2, aside from the this boss, is turning out to be rather easy. And I would say for the most part, the boss is rather easy as well. It's just sometimes kind of a slog, where you her attacks aren't as concentrated as I would have liked to really, get a ton of points out of. However, we get the extends at that 10 mil mark there, with 20 mil being our next. And a real stupid play really aggressive, hit the release, and then kind of as we retreat back, run into one of her bullets that she already fired off. So, much in the way of how we do things around here. We get an extends and then we die, tread water, and really make no sort of progress when it comes to, storing lives up for the later half of the game. But that's not entirely true. I mean, we there is a point where we have a good amount of lives coming up. So, however, that is kind of a black mark on this run, having to have him sort of backed into that bullet there. Alright, no silly mistakes there at least. Brings us up to 16 mil, so not too much longer. 3 and 3.8 mil left for our next extends, which should be coming sometime during this level. This level is really good for scoring up a ton of points. If it's not with these sort of groups of fairies, it's going to be with these sort of the yin yang sprites as well. Really tried to get ourselves killed there. I don't know what that was. Really sort of momentary blindness there, but luckily not punished. And there it is. As we figured, this level loves to just pile on the points and whatnot, which is why I'm kind of curious whether or not should really go ham on some of these earlier levels, just because this level is so generous when it comes to points and easy enemies to kill, at least for the most part. Out of place here, not really out of place, but more or less out of position, where we really shouldn't have been so low on the stage. If we're really high, we can sort of be the aggressor with our releases, and really, not have to worry about that sort of avalanche of bullets. A little better than runs in the past, but still not a very good placement with those enemies as well. And I think that's generally the issue with this level that we have right now. Not necessarily difficulty, it's just, unfamiliarity somehow still, that we just kind of forget what's coming next. However, short level, and here we are at the boss already. And we know what to expect from this boss. Particularly, I think, the second to her last phase. So when she's sitting on that 1 star up there, we know exactly what's coming. It might actually be her 0 star, to be completely honest. I'm not the largest fan of this pattern here. It's a little unpredictable. It's not as hard as it seems to be, but I can't really tell where those bullets, those larger football-like bullets, what direction they go into when they turn red. So here, just like I thought, it's the second half of our 1 star here with this wretched attack. Keep in note that we're out of our bombs, so really did that for the most part with our releases. I did notice we've used so many bombs, or rather, like, we've gone a good distance without dying. That usually we would have bombs because we would have died by now. But sitting at 6 lives, have used up our bombs. But you know that's kind of the strength of the summer release. I believe it's the summer release. You get to spam it quite a lot, and it can certainly get you through some tougher times in some areas that normally would not be not be really desiring to be in a position of like that. But certainly, this I've said it before. This certainly is the sort of meat grinder stage. I think this is the stage as we lose our first meat rather there. This is certainly the stage that's going to sort of make or break our runs. And in quick succession, our 6 lives are reduced to 4. And I doubt that's where it stops. The first 3 stages, I would say, give or take some really stupid, preventable stuff. The first 3 stages, I would say, are kind of, nailed down. And considering there's only, 3 stages, I guess that I'm assuming 6 stages, I think that's pretty decent. Is there 6 or 5? I forget now. I know there's a really short stage. Maybe the 6th stage is that short boss stage, really, unless it's coming right at the end of 5. I forget now. It's been a while since I've actually been that far in the game. I think that was maybe like 8 or 9 episodes ago. Back on easy mode. Cool little tactic here is, if you don't mind missing, 90% of pickups, hugging that right side of the screen, you really get to sort of deal with, a fraction of the bullets that are on screen. So this area is still a bit spiky. You still have to be on your toes. Good bomb there. Or rather, with the S, it's probably more or less called a special attack, I'm sure. Or a spell, rather. Every game has their own sort of terminology for that type of stuff. There it goes. That's life number 3. Going against the Rice Hat Girl. And she's certainly no slouch. Naruko here. She's no slouch when it comes to beating us up as well. Usually taking this pattern rather easily, but there it is, another 4th life down the drain. So we're going through the first 3 levels. And you would say, generally, as long as I'm not being an absolute moron, taking 0 damage, and then as soon as hitting this level, we've lost 4. This pattern isn't, or rather, this attack isn't too crazy. It's just that giant bullet just following you. That's, and you have to be on your toes, or not on your toes, you just have to keep, macro dodging, rather. You can't stay in one place and dodge tiny bullets. You literally have to just keep bouncing from one side to the next, or like that sort of counterclock movement or clockwise movement. And that's the tough part of that particular pattern. Other than that, it's all rather easy from here on out. We're going to sit right on her and use our releases when the time comes to. And of course, not run into her now, which is bizarre. A lot of the bosses have been like blown into space dust. She just stands there and just kind of waits for her exit. I guess she just walks away from battle, I suppose. Stage 5, with 3 lives, 78 mil, going towards our 100 mil 1-up 37K on our pickups. And this is where our sort of concentration and our micro dodges really come into play, where we have to kind of, in those particular ones, not just dodge the sort of large blue, star attacks, but graze the blue bullets that are kind of aimed on us as well. Yeah, the sort of red waterfall, not too crazy, although it can kind of catch you as they have those sort of tails at the end of the pattern. This sort of starfall stuff, not particularly hard, although it kind of caught me off guard there with a few different angles that I did not really anticipate. And then, yeah, that's what happens when you kind of hide in the corner and wait for death. So back down to 2 lives, although 90 mil going towards 100 mil. And I believe she's going to give us a 1-up here as well. So despite our best intentions, the game is keeping us in it. And like I've said before, staying down on those attacks have really proven to be the easier strategy. Completely falling out of position here with all these spam angels, but using a bomb and getting our extend. So at 100 mil, headed towards 150 mil. However, if we're going to be getting 150 mil, we're going to be beating our high score by quite a lot. And just as I was blabbing on about that, we lost 2 lives. Really ugly stuff here. And something I didn't notice in the past is those those sort of gold star attacks, they actually speed up as they mature. So something I really wasn't paying attention to in previous runs. So here we are, the twin jerks here, who really have been sort of a pain in our ass before. Sitting at no bombs, which is the tough part. However, making it through there, hitting her with a nice release there. However, yeah, I just not in the cards anymore to survive there. But 2 bombs, 4 releases, and a heart full of hate and discontent. Just really aggressively playing her, and putting her down. And this is kind of where I was like, man, I really wish I could kind of hit them both with a release, get a ton of points out of that. 2 patterns, like just at the core of both of them at the same time, and just really, I have no idea what type of points it would get, but it seemed like a lot. And just like that, we're down at our final life now. 2 bombs, 2 releases, excuse me, down to 3. And this is where it's just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Their last attacks are these sort of giant fucking twin lasers. Tell me that's not going to make me bitch and complain for like, runs on end now. I was like, holy shit. How did I forget that was a thing? But we finally make it through, by Jesus. And it feels good to at least, make it by them in any regard. But, like I was saying, yeah, 3 inches past him. But you know what? We'll take it. 3rd best run so far. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that stuff. And we'll come back and play some more Touhou later.